I'm Manfred Mielke, forest pathologist with the U.S. Forest Service, Northeastern Area State and Private Forestry, Forest Health Protection. Plants, animals, insects, and microbes have been moved around the world by people throughout history. Some of those introductions have caused drastic changes to natural ecosystems. As the pace of immigration, tourism, and trade has increased in the modern era, so too has the movement of exotic organisms. A previously unknown water mold, Phytophthora ramorum, was identified causing widespread mortality of oaks along the central California coast in the year 2000. This discovery alarmed resource professionals and the public throughout the rest of the country. Oaks are among the most valuable urban, ornamental, and forest trees. They are extremely valuable timber trees, and their acorns are critical for wildlife. The further discovery that Phytophthora ramorum causes disease in dozens of other important trees, shrubs, and herbs means that virtually no community or ecosystem would not be adversely affected if Phytophthora ramorum were to be introduced there. Now let's take a look at one such affected community.
Sudden oak death is something that's going after a lot of our food sources, a lot of our sacred plants. And of course there's the tan oak that seems to be killing faster than any other tree. And the tan oak for us is a major food source as well as a sacred tree for us. We have ceremony for the acorns that come from those tan oak every year. We do things to honor it that are practices that for us have always been around. They go back to our before world, before we actually stepped onto this earth, and the agreements that our tribe made with the plant people and the animal people.
In this particular forest, our research has shown that about 60% or more of the bay laurels are infected by the pathogen. Approximately 30 to 40% of the tan oaks are infected, and in some portions we see mortality up to 30% of the tan oak. So when we look at the landscape here at Jack London State Park, almost 1/3 of all the tan oaks have been killed over the last 10 years by this disease.
Phytophthora ramorum has had a huge impact on the Oregon nursery industry. In the few nurseries where it was detected, this resulted in the destruction of millions of dollars worth of nursery stock. And in other nurseries which were awaiting the test results, this sometimes resulted in shipping delays of weeks or even months.
60% out of 20 people came up positive. That is, they had living Phytophthora ramorum that was culturable on the soles of their shoes. In later samplings, as many as 20 out of 20 people had this organism alive on their shoes.
We've always seen changes occur in the local vegetation communities around here, but this is happening really dramatically. In the last 5 years, we've just seen 90% of our mature tan oaks just die off.
Here's your ground zero photo right here, man. I mean, you can see the roots in some of them. This is, see, you can see how it's all broken everywhere. This right here is what our tribal members are scared of, that at some point, if we don't do something about it, you know, our whole territories are going to look like this. Even on the reservation, we have so many tan oaks, but I mean, this is excessive. This is dramatic.
Phytophthora ramorum makes a couple of different kinds of spores. The spore that's formed on the surfaces of leaves and on twigs are what are known as sporangia. These are sort of football-shaped spores that come directly out of the infected tissue. They're deciduous, which means they can break off and be disseminated in rain splash or in wind-driven rain. These sporangia can germinate to form what are known as zoospores, which have a little swimming tail on it, and these can swim, and these are the propagules that will actually infect plants. Now, during stressful periods of times, the pathogen will make another type of spore known as a chlamydospore, which is very thick-walled and allows the pathogen to survive through difficult conditions, for example, during the dry summer months.
A feature of Phytophthora ramorum is that there are two different mating types. It also has a sexual cycle. but it has two different mating types, very crudely analogous to males and females. Except in the case of these fungi, the A1 and the A2 mating type are identical in every way, except that sexual reproduction requires the combination of both mating types. In North America, in our forests, we have only the A2 mating type. In Europe, they have only the A1 mating type. This indicates that the European introduction came from a different place or a different time from the North American introduction. We didn't both get it from the same place at the same time, or we didn't get it from them. We have different populations, different genotypes of the pathogen. The concern we have is that the A1 and the A2, the male and the female, will get together, most likely in some nursery somewhere, and we would then have sexual reproduction and all of the mischief that that can produce. More specifically, the genetic recombination, production of new genotypes, new combinations, perhaps new pathogenic potentials. We've not seen this yet, but the potential is certainly present in our nurseries, where in the nurseries in Oregon and Washington, we have found both A1 and A2 mating types present, indicating introduction both from that A1 population as well as from an A2 population on nursery stock.